So we're looking at water management, and we're going to be moving into the basement and the foundation. But I wanted to start by showing again that there's two valleys. There's actually four valleys, two on this side of the house and two on the other. And note the location as we walk inside. So we've got one on each end of the gambrel gable. Now we're going to walk through the basement door and into the basement. And we know that the exterior bulk water management is directing the loads right to those valleys, and they correspond with this corner of the basement, and the other is right at the end underneath the fuel tank. So the first part of any hydrothermal assessment, and particularly looking at moisture, is visual inspection. And so what I'm looking for, and when we frankly first moved into this house, we looked really closely at what the moisture performance was at each of these four corners where we know the water load that the foundation was seeing from the exterior was the highest. And here, this part of the basement has been coated with a floor leveler and then a stain. But when we first were having the house inspected, and again, it was in March, and March is a key time because it's when the foundation is seeing frost line down to a certain depth, a little bit of thawing along the foundation, and then rain. So the moisture load in March in cold climates can be pretty intense because you can actually even get head hydrostatic pressure. And in the outline, there's a mention of the Avid insulation system with a diagram that shows how that head develops and puts the most pressure on foundations of any time, sometimes intense once every 15 or 20 years, which would happen on this house. But in any event, we're looking for patterns. And so you can see that, and we just had Tropical Storm Faye come through, so we've had quite a bit of water after a very dry spot, and there is just the very slightest discoloration for moisture in this corner. And that's typically what happens. We get a little bit of dampness in the corner. And then I want to take you over to here. So this would be the northwest corner. And what you can see, first of all, this floor has never been reworked. And if we go down in here, you can see a little bit of white dust. You can see corrosion on the fasteners on the bottom. Notice that there is pink seal sealer underneath the wall that I built, which holds the open cell spray foam insulation. But then also the gypsum wallboard has been held up off. So that's actually a capillary break. But if we look back into this corner, there's white dust. And in particular, right there you can see, and actually quite a bit of efflorescence on this concrete block that's underneath here. But that's efflorescence. And if there's water moving up in liquid form through a porous material like concrete, the water evaporates from the surface and the salts get left behind. So what this tells you is that despite all of our efforts to completely water manage this basement, we are still getting a very occasional moisture here. And what you can do is so the question is, when did the efflorescence form, and how much, is it evidence of past wetting or is it current? So frankly, what you do is you go in and you wipe away, and this sometimes will have to be with a damp rag, all the efflorescence that you can see, and then come back. So again, it's looking for patterns. It's looking for change over time. And so that's step one in looking at moisture in basements and foundation.